welcome back to Musings by Nikki. I'm Nikki, and I am here with my box of grungy scraps that we made in my last video. And I am starting to use these to do some things in my forest journal that I'm currently working on, which is a design team project for Tracy Fox Creative. Let me just show you I keep this out on my desk so I can remember to tell you the main kit that I'm using is called Fancy Forest by Tracy Fox Creative, right there. The links to where you can find the kit are all going to be in the description box below. And let me just kind of catch you up on what I've done in the last little bit here. So I started just kind of trying to wrap my head around using these scraps into my journal. Look at these yummy scraps that are full of all kinds of fun, stampy, inky, gesso goodness from the last video. So one of the things that I did was use some of my Tim Holtz Thinlit die cuts to make some leaves, because I felt like let me grab it so I can show you exactly which one I'm using. It is this one. So this is what I used to cut these leaves out. And then sorry, I've got my window open because it is a fabulous morning, so you will hear some cars driving by. I apologize now. So then I've kept my negatives too, like the cutouts, so the places that I cut them out of, because we will use some of those as well. So I've got those. I'm going to set them up over here for now. I've got my box of scraps, and then let me show you some of the things that I did just to kind of get going on this. So here I took a tag and I layered up some of the scraps. Look at that cute little, like that little chipmunk squirrel, which I'm not sure. It looks like a squirrel. Anyway, I layered up some of the scraps. I put a little piece of muslin on there and I just stapled them together. So now that's the tag topper, and then I just sewed around. So I've taken all of these tags, this set of the big tags from the Forest Friends kit, and I've backed them all with various things. I have also, on these, I've inked them already. So this is one of the things I did. And then I made an envelope. So here's my envelope, and on top of this, I used one of the negatives over one of the other scraps, and then layered up some of the other scraps, and sewed and sewed, and then glued it all down to the envelope. And I love how that turned out. So I did that. And then I started working on some pages because I wanted to use the scraps. So I saw this is totally all mega inspiration from Louisa Heinzel, who I have been, if you watched my last video, I have been binge watching her lately because I love her accent and I love her grunginess. I mean, like, it is intensely grungy on so many levels that I've never even achieved. And so I am doing a Louisa Heinzel-esque feel to this journal. I really want to, push the boundaries of my ability to grunge. So that is what I am doing. So I've used some of the scraps to just kind of make little collaging in the corner. And then I've used some of the little pieces. So with the kit, you get these larger pieces. So like this is the large size. And then you also get a whole set of little mini ones. So you get like the half size and full size of these little cards that have the animals on them and such. So I've used one of the smaller ones there. And then on the back side, I love exposed stitching too in my journals. That's always been a thing for me. So here's another one where I have stitched some scraps on, and then I stitched one of the little pieces, one of the mini pieces, and then a tiny label that I had just laying in the pile. I stitched around that as well with some cheesecloth behind it. And then here's my last one, which I just totally love. So this is a very like torn, scrappy page, right, that I tore. And this is literally the piece, the shape of the piece. So I said, let me spatter it a little bit and then I folded it in half, and it was, you know, there, it's too wide to fit in the journal. So then I folded those pieces back and I inked around the edge. I'm using forest moss and black soot. And so then I just, I folded them, but I didn't fold them back straight. I folded them back kind of wonky. And then I did some more collaging and sewed on a piece of Tracy's kit here and here. Hold on just a second. My camera's doing something funky. Okay. I think I'm back. For some reason, all of a sudden my camera was doing something funky. So I've done the same thing there, stitched around it, and now it'll just be a fold out. And then on this page, this is Teal Grunge. So this is another kit by Tracy. It is linked below. I've used some papers to just layer up, and then a little medallion from the kit with that sweet little bunny. And this is actually then, let me grab a tag quick. This is a pocket. So I've created it as a little tuck spot. And then the same on this back side, I sewed all this down. These were all in the scrap thing. And so I sewed that down to a piece of vellum and made that into a tuck spot as well. So I loved the way that this looked. This is just kind of layered up on a piece of paper here that we will create on. But I loved the way this looked all layered up like this. How you could see the layers of the torn paper and then the grungy scrappy here and then the layer behind it and how it's got sticking out around the edges. And same thing here. I loved how this all layered up. So that's the feel that I'm going to try and go for throughout the journal. And so today I thought we would just work on doing some of this. The kit that I'm working with, the Fancy Forest, I keep calling it Forest Friends. If I keep calling it that, know that that is not what it's called. It's called Fancy Forest. Anyway, it's expansive, and it comes with, it's just ephemera, and it comes with a ton of tags. Like, look at the stack of tags. And I printed this once only, but there are tons of tags. So these larger ones I have double inked, which means that I've gone around, let's see if I can show you kind of, I've gone around really kind of haphazardly with the forest moss, and then I've gone just the edges with the black soot to really kind of bring it forward. So I didn't do that to these, so that I thought, let me just show you what I'm doing. I sometimes will double ink things just because I like the way that that looks. I think it brings an extra layer of goodness. So I'm going to go on the front here. I'm using the forest moss because it's this kind of, you know, mossy olivey green. And so see, I'm being a little heavy-handed with the ink, and I'm not minding if it goes over the edges a little bit more than I normally would with my ink. So see how I've made, you know, extra inky marks there. So I do that, and then I'll take the black soot. And now you can see the edges aren't all that well defined, but once we put the black soot on, and I try to hit just kind of the edges with this, it's like it really frames it out and brings a nice definition to the edges. See how that looks? So, and then I'll do that on the front here too. And this time, instead of going in sideways like this, kind of, I try to go straight, you know, with the edge like this, to just bring that next level of work. And it's something that most people wouldn't really like notice entirely, but you appreciate the aesthetic of it, even though you don't notice that it's been double inked. Sometimes I triple ink things because I might want some brown in there too, but this kit is lovely, and it has this kind of gorgeous autumnal feel to it. You know, you can see these tags and kind of where they go. And I just wanted to get a little bit more green in. So I decided to use forest moss to kind of go around everything as my main ink color, just to try and like bring some greens into the kit, since I want to make it kind of a woodland foresty feel. And the main kit pages, or the Teal Grunge pages, have kind of a tealish color, so I want to bring some green to those too. So what I'm going to do is shut off my camera and go through and literally double ink these entire stacks of tags and stuff, and then I'll be back and we'll start creating with the scraps and make some fun, yummy goodness. Okay, so I have double inked all of these, and then I have separated out. So in the kit, you get some that have like the adorable little animals on them, right? So, and all three of these tag sizes have that. So I've separated out the ones that have the animals, and then these are just the ones that are more of a background. And I've done that with my larger ones as well. So I've got the animals and the non-animals, because what I want to do is just do some like layering and maybe make some layered tags that have multiple, you know, tags. That's what a layered tag is. I know that you're smart people and can figure that out without me having to tell you. So, and then on some of these bigger ones, I thought maybe we would do like pockets or something, because I think they would work cool with, you know, scrappy pockets. And then one of the smaller tags could go into, right? So let's do that first. Actually, let me get this all off of here. Oh, I also have my fussy cuts that I cut out of the Stamperia pad. So there's like a bunch of little animals and stuff. So they're kind of like fodder for this as well. So I'm gonna, here, just give me a second. Let me get myself organized. Okay, I'm feeling organized. So let's just go with this first one. It's been inked, and I am now just going to pull out some scraps and start making a little collaged pocket here on front. And the goal is to just kind of make a pocket that I can kind of sew together. So, and I kind of don't mind. I want overlaid edges and kind of scrappiness going on all over. And then I might ink some of the edges of things as I go, and some I may not. That's kind of how I was doing before. And I'm just going to keep doing. I picked some of these pinks because in this kit there are some of these pink kind of colors as well. So I like the way that this looks right here, because I will probably, there are these little tiny labels and stuff, and then some little circle embellishments. So let me like see, here's a little label, right? So I'll maybe put a label on there. But what I'm going to do is let's set up several of these kind of pocket things for a minute here, and then I'll go to the sewing machine and sew them. So let's get another like base tag here. These will have flowers, so I don't want to cover too much. Like this one, maybe we could, because it's got a lot more flower stuff going on kind of up the side. I do have some vellum too that would kind of work through the edge of that. So let's put some. This wants to curl up. The minute you get vellum wet, it wants to curl. So let me see if I can kind of do this to it to see if it'll uncurl a little to behave until I sew it. Yeah, this has got an edge on it though that I don't like, so I'm gonna tear that off. And then let's see if we can find some scrappy doos to go over the top of that. Oh, here's some nice tracing paper. Let's take a piece of that. That one's too long. I don't quite like that one's a little too long. Oh, there goes the four-wheelers. There's some ledger. Let's rip a piece of that off. Okay, I kind of like the way that looks, even though it wants to curl up. Once I sew it, it'll make a difference. Here's a kind of a, oh, I like that side better. Some more of that ledger. Hope you guys have been good. It feels like forever since we've crafted together. Well, this kind of looks like a ready-made pocket, doesn't it? It feels like forever since I've done this. Well, it has kind of been forever since I've done this. Ooh, here's a cool looking scrappy piece. Look at that one. That one's really cool. Cool, grungy cool. It needs one more something. Ooh, there's another yummy looking piece. We'll put that there too. That goes kind of behind it all like this. And then this goes behind that. And this goes on top of that. Okay, I'm going to take these pockets over to my sewing machine and sew, and then sew them on, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I have my 3 tags finished. So I've sewn, to sew this pocket together, all I did was go around this piece, and that kind of leaves these a little flappy and free, and then I just sewed it onto the tag. And I'm doing messy stitching, and I'm using black so you can really see it. And now this has created a pocket, and I decided to put a little raccoon guy on top of that one. And then I put that little label on top of this one. So let's pull out some of these adorable guys to put inside of these pockets. And these might need a little scrappy tag topper, I think. You know, since I put a raccoon on here, I think what I'm going to do is put a and since this has a lot going on, I think I'll use one that doesn't have a design on the front of it, and maybe just go with some sort of scrappy embellished tag topper thing there. The other thing I can do in these would be to put a smaller tag in there with them as well. Let's see if that fits in there, to kind of make it like a stuffed pocket. But I don't want to hide the little fox's face because he's so cute. So we'll skip that idea. Let's make some little scrappy tag toppers for these. Ooh, this is a yummy piece here. And it's got kind of some of that pink in. So I'm going to rip some pieces of this off to go on the tops of these. And then here's some yummy scrap. Let's see. Here's some tealy green. That tore and that left a really white line, so I'm going to just go real quickly over that with some forest moss, just to kind of rough that, get rid of that bright white edge. Let's see. So sometimes it's just a matter of ripping and tearing and playing with this stuff until you like the way it looks. I like usually to put like 3 pieces of scrap something on there, just because I feel like, you know, at least 3, because I feel like that kind of gives me some sort of, I don't know, balance or something. Let's do just a piece of this. Oh, I just love the way these turned out. They're super grungy and cool. Let's go with that in the back. And they just match this kit so well. Okay, so now I'm going to take these over and just sew like a little crisscross or a little zigzaggy back and forth a little bit to make this into a tag topper on top of the tag. You know what? I feel like they need a little cheesecloth, because honestly, everything needs a little cheesecloth. Cheesecloth makes everything just slightly better. Oh, here, I've got a piece over here. So I'm going to layer some cheesecloth in underneath that top scrap, just for some more dimension. Yeah, that does exactly what I was hoping it would do. And I'm going to shred it because we're going grungy. And we'll put some underneath this top layer here. Okay, that looks way better. So I'm going to take these over, sew them, and I'll be right back. So now I've got, look at how much these scraps just added, these made these tags next level. There's still writing space on the back, but now we've got this adorable little fox and we've got some dimension. But the nice thing about these scraps is they don't add a ton of bulk. They're thin enough that it's not making these tags feel super bulked up. So these are certainly things that can just get clipped into a journal on pages to add, you know, flavor to just a plain page. This could definitely get clipped in, but it would also just feel, you know, like it carries the theme kind of throughout. So I'm going to do some more of those and I'll do them off camera, but I wanted to work through those with you. And then let's do some layered tags. So I'm thinking some of these would be cute layered up with one of the small versions. So this is the larger and the smaller, obviously. Oh my gosh, I'm just being really dumb today. But I thought what we could do is add some scraps to there. So then when this layers on top, we've got some kind of exploding scrappiness behind it. So let's try some of that. I like these scraps that kind of have a, you know, weird like punches where I punched out of them and stuff. So what I'm going for is scrappy coolness on this tag, and so it'll stick out kind of the edges. Well, let's put something behind that. Something that you would see through. Yeah. You know, I bet I can bring you guys in a little closer. There we go. I feel like you're so far away. Maybe a piece of this with that bright white edge. And then I'm just going to lay that over the top, and I like that. So I'm gonna let's do a couple more. Let's do a couple more, and then I'll go sew them. So I'm going to take another one with the no design, and then I'll grab the fox on the front because that was what was on the top of the pile. Remember this one? Did you watch the video with me? I burnt that hole with my heat gun. Yep, I did that. So let's use it. Let's use the burnt hole. Don't be me. I was totally not paying attention. I was having way too much fun looking at my scraps, and then I was just holding the heat gun in one spot for a little too long. Here's some more super cool. Look at how yummy that is. And like, as you look at the scraps, you look at the way that the inks reacted, and when I put the different like dyes and then the oxides and then water, it's just so cool what it all does. I'm gonna just kind of smoosh that down. And then again, there's a hole, but I think I want to leave that hole because I kind of like the way it looks through, peeks through. Maybe we'll, okay. Yes, I like that one. Let's do one more. Oh my gosh, because it's this adorable little owl. Owls are my jam. I'm trying to use, so like I have some pieces that are kind of bigger like this, but I want to save them to make pockets on pages and stuff. So I want to use some of my smaller pieces for doing this kind of collaging here. This one is still pretty white, so let me add some ink on top. So you guys, summer feels like it has just escaped me entirely. With my dad being in the hospital for like the first half of summer and being over there with him, I just feel like summer completely got away from me. And now Joy, my oldest daughter, starts college. Ooh, I like that one. My oldest daughter starts college very shortly here, guys. That's insane. And Joy starts summer volleyball in like a week. It's crazy. Where did summer go? I'm going to take these. I'm trying to decide right now if I want to. I was thinking initially that I'd poke a hole through both and then just have this be loose, but I kind of like the way this looks and want to just keep all the layering like this and then sew around the tag to kind of attach it all together. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go sew these and then I'll be back and show you what it looks like. So I have finished sewing them and decided they need a little topper on them. So I brought a couple of things. I've got this string that I dyed a while ago for a project and it's kind of got some greens in it. And then I've got a couple of different colors of sari silk. So let's just go with, these scissors are getting dull and it is about time that they are going to maybe have to make a retirement to being utility scissors. When the scissors get too old to craft with in my studio, they go into the kitchen into the junk drawer. Okay, I'm just gonna staple this on. There we go. I kind of wanted it to go off the side a little like this. I'm gonna tear it a little more to just make it extra grunged up. I'm just kind of shredding the sari silk, which, you know, sari silk does that very easily. And I kind of like the way it's feathery almost. And this is an owl, you know, cute. Cute. And I'm going to do this. You know, like really work it over a little. There. So there's my little owl tag. Isn't he adorable? And then let's do some on the fox. Let's maybe go... Same concept, gold. Let's go with some gold. And I'm going to open it up. There's a seam right in this one, so we're going to kind of use that to be the folding point. And I will staple that on as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing and kind of grunge up the top of it here by shredding it a little. Oh yeah. Usually I'm like fighting all the strings on a piece of sari, but now I want the strings. So I'm going to kind of smoosh it around and kind of rub it against itself. There we go. There's my cute little fox. A couple of these are a little too long, so I'm going to trim them down a little, just slightly. Okay, so there's the fox. Cute. And then let's do, should we put a string tie on this one? We can punch a hole and, yeah. Ooh, they're getting dull. Let me grab my hole punch right up here. Handy dandy old-fashioned hole punch from who knows when. Probably Girl Scouts when I was a kid. This is used to be my mom's. That's how this one's been through some things, and somehow it ended up on my desk. I'll just put this through like so. So now we've got this cute little raccoon guy as well. So we've got a couple of adorable little tags. I did bring out some of this. I have a fresh roll of my like green leafy trim stuff. Let me set that over there. So those are adorable. Now let me show you kind of what I was doing with paper to make like Franken paper. So I've got some of this, and it's, you know, obviously bright white. So one of the first things I want to do is to like make this not be so bright white. So I've got my jar of watered down gouache, and it's black. So I made black spatter fodder for this journal because you will notice that Tracy's kit has black splatter and white splatter, like gesso, all over. So in order to carry that theme through the whole journal, I am just using some spatters here and there. So I've got my spatter brush, and I just dip it in, and I don't need the splatters all over the whole page. So I just kind of go around like the edge or down the middle or something. And I don't mind if it's a little bit bigger. Oh, there we go. If it's a little bit bigger splatter like that. And then I've got my heat gun, and I'm going to dry it up. Well, you know what? Let's do some white gesso spatters on there too. Just because I've got it out as well. So I'm going to make sure that's on there nice and tight and shake up my... Now you might not see the white all that well since this is fairly white paper, but every little, you know, every little bit helps. So let's see. Nah, you don't see it well enough to make it matter. So I'm going to dry this up. I dried this side, and then I went ahead and spattered the other side and dried it as well. So now I've got some areas where there's just some splattering, but it doesn't need to be, you know, total everywhere. It's just enough to kind of carry this theme through the journal. So like I did before, I want to look for some pieces that are big enough to kind of be a pocket on their own. I had one earlier. Oh yeah, here. It's like I grabbed it. I had my hand on it. So this is maybe a piece of a note card or something. Not entirely sure, but it's yummy looking. So this would be a great little pocket to go in the corner of this page, and I'm gonna sew it right on because I want to, well, here we've got a butterfly, we could put that on there, and maybe just another, again, my kind of rule of threes here. See if I can find a thinner piece to go on it. Can you even see that? No, I'm like way down outside of it, so it makes a cool pocket. And then I'm seeing if I can just find some pieces to layer up like this. And then I think I've got this other piece of green sari from before. So maybe I'll try kind of sewing that down along the bottom before I put the butterfly on. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is turn this around because I want to leave extra stuff hanging out the side. So I think I'll put this pocket, oh my gosh, here, let me move my scraps. I'll put this pocket way down in the corner, and then I'll kind of sew it so it's right on the edge and it leaves some extra overlapping stuff. And then I'll sew that piece on and then the butterfly on, and then we'll make a pocket out of that. And so that's already kind of set up. I'm going to put it over in my sewing pile. And then let's find something to put on this page. This page, maybe we will just do, let's take one of the leaf outlines, so one of the negatives from cutting out leaves, and find something that can kind of go behind it. And then this is literally just like a sewn on embellishment to kind of make, extra, you know, edging on my pages and stuff. Let's see. Now, because this is such a light colored paper, I want to use stuff that's going to make an impact. So what I'm kind of trying to do is just make an edge that can have, you know, some stuff hanging off the side here. And then what I'll probably do is take this off and zoom down this edge, and then I will put this on like that probably, and go just around the leaf outline. I feel like I want one more thing down there. Oh, that's already, this is like some light kind of crinkly paper. So let's see if I can find, maybe this. I'm going to ink this one because it's got really bright white edges, and I'm trying to make it stand out from the bright white. There we go. That's like just the last piece I needed. So I'm gonna go, let me show you again since you're out of frame, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go take this off and sew down this edge, and then I will put this on and sew around it. And then I'll sew that other pocket, and I'll be right back. So here is the finished leaf page. I love how this looks, and you can see the edges of the pocket there, and you can see the edges of all of it hanging out on the edge, right off of the edge there. And then here's the pocket, and we can put one of our little tags in there if we want to. Look at that. How cute. Or maybe one that has a different color than the sari there. Oh, look at the just absolute grungeness in that corner. So pulling through all of this stuff, even though this is a pretty white paper, I might like distress the edge. I'm totally feeling the Louisa Heinzel thing. Okay, so maybe what I'm gonna do is tear off a corner here of the top of this page, and then I'm going to use just the little bit of black soot that's on, and then just the little bit of, oh, where'd my dauber go for my, what in the world? Did it like roll off my desk? What did I do with it? You guys, seriously. Okay, well, we're not going to put any forest moss on there because I seriously have no idea what I did with my dauber. It probably rolled off my desk on the floor somewhere. Who knows? Anyway, we'll just use some black soot again, just to kind of darken the edges of this page a little bit, because it is so white. We're just gonna take that down just a notch. There we go. I like how that looks. Okay, so I've got this little pocket here, and I'm gonna just keep working through. So I've got, you know, we've got our tags that we made. Seriously, this can be like a thing where, you know, you can attach one of these, just paper clip it into a page like this as well. I'm leaving all the black stringy goodness because it just adds to the grunge quotient. So this is something we could definitely paper clip in to keep carrying the theme, the grungy theme through. So I'm going to just keep working through some of my scraps, and then next video I will come back and show you what I have done with them. Let's line these up all pretty for a thumbnail, because you know I got to take a thumbnail. Anyway, you thanks for joining me today and hanging out with me for a little while. And thanks for hanging out with me as I get back into filming and working through this video. Ooh, I have a scrap overboard. I don't want to lose that one. That's very nature themed. So anyway, I'm going to keep working through this stuff. Thanks for joining me today. We will, next time we meet up again, I'll show you all the stuff that I've made, and then we will start putting together some signatures and moving on to, you know, whatever's next in this journey, making this grungy, scrappy, fancy forest journal. So all the kits will be listed below, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful morning or afternoon or evening or middle of the night, whatever time it is on whatever side of this planet of ours that you live on. And until I see you next time, take care, stay safe, and God bless you guys. Bye-bye. You guys, seriously, why did I put it in my box of scraps?